So for all of the old men out there who think that I'm 40 years old and I want to date a girl who's 23, you have to pay to play, okay? If you did not date girls in your 20s when you were 20, if you want to date a girl in her 20s and you are not in your 20s, you have to pay to play. I am so sorry. I was listening to this guy talk. He was 35 dating a girl who was 29 and she was a model. And he was like, oh my God, she wanted to go to Nobu on the first date. You are too old to be dating women in your 20s. If you do not want to pay to play, you should do a max age gap of 5 years. Anything above that, you have to pay to play. I am so sorry. Men need to be told the truth. If you want to date girls in their 20s or a more than 5 year age gap, don't be surprised if Nobu is the first date. Don't be surprised if she wants $300 just to show up, okay? If you want a substantial age gap, the only reason why she is dating you is because she thinks you know what time it is. If you do not want to pay to play, plenty of women your age that will go to Chili's with you. Date those women. Stop lusting after young women and be upset when they make your pockets hurt.
Black Ram 313 back at it again. You know why? Well, it's because this is therapeutic, man. Back again with another video, hence another therapy session, man. You saw the video. Man, she kind of looks like a transformer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really can't give her a rating right there, man. That's just too much makeup. You know, the one thing about makeup that I find funny is that it's usually caked on by beasts that are 30 plus, and the whole point is to look younger. That's the whole point, is to look younger. That's what you wear makeup, so you can look youthful and beautiful, because youth is beautiful. Or at least appearance of youthfulness. And I'm talking about grown people, but looking like you're in your 20s. That's the whole point of makeup. And her with a face painted like a clown is trying to shame guys for going after the 20-year-old who organically is young looking. Meanwhile, she's trying to fake and phony her way into looking like a 20-year-old, all trying to shame you for wanting a 20-year-old and say you have to pay for a 20-year-old. And a lot of Phoebes claim that you are icky for wanting a chick in her 20s if you were 40, 50, 60 plus. Again, meanwhile now, this is the hypocrisy of the creature. They are trying to look the part. I can't tell you how many 40, 50-year-old women trying to dress like they're in their 20s. They definitely act like they're in their 20s. And trying to attract the same type of men that they would have attracted when they were in their 20s. The caliber of men that they would have wanted, that were more sophisticated and probably older and can take care of them. You see the hypocrisy there. And that's the beast. You can't take nothing the creature says seriously, man. The subject is full of deception, lies, hypocrisy, contradictions, solipsism, cognitive dissonance, you name it. I'm talking about a psychological just tornado of just effery. I mean, just a superstorm of just effery going on in the head, just all over the damn place. You want to look 20, but then shame a man for wanting somebody who's actually 20. What the hell, man? But this is America, right? This is the West, right? This is what you get. Always trying to phony kick it. Now, naturally, guys are attracted to youth and beauty. Why? Because that represents fertility. We still have the primal part of us. Young means fertile, and biologically you're more attracted to that because this is how you were hardwired. Meanwhile, the creature who wants provision and protection and security is naturally hardwired to want someone who has provisions. So this is why historically older man deals with younger woman deals with older man, because that is the trade-off. But now when you have a Waller, somebody who's older, who can't attract the caliber of men that she wants, because a guy who got bread, even if he's in his 40s himself, if he wants a serious relationship and he's well established, he might want a kid. If he's 30 or 40, because a lot of times, let's be honest, for a man to have his financial life together, 9 times out of 10, he's not going to have that in his 20s. Just not. You're building in your 20s. In your 30s, you're starting to see some gains and some growth, and you may start thinking about a family. This is how the world is just set up. By your 40s, you probably got your bread together. So if you're 40 with no kids and you want a wife, Are you going to look at a 40-year-old? Are you going to look at somebody 50? Or are you going to look for a younger woman? Of course, you're going to look for the younger woman. But the beast wants to shame you because she knows that she can't compete with the younger ones. So what happens when they want you to move in a certain direction, especially the red pills, because it's a negotiation, right? They try to shame and blame you into selecting them so that they can have more options, even while they're rejecting you, because they don't want to compete with the 20-year-old, because they can't compete with the 20-year-old. So a lot of old 304s are going to just shame and blame you for wanting something young. Meanwhile, you're not supposed to shame and blame them for wanting somebody that's rich or have lots of provisions. You see the game that they play? BSing all the way around. Now, guys know that most of them are 304s. So if a guy in his 30s and 40s is meeting a 20-year-old, most of the time they know that they have to play this certain role. They may have to give a little bit more financially to date the 20-year-old. So the beast is trying to say, hey, be prepared to spend if she's in her 20s and you in your late 30s, early 40s and beyond. She didn't say this, but she's trying to, it seems like to me she's trying to say, hey, you're going to have to pay a whole lot over there. So you might as well come over here. But the problem is this. You want the same thing that the 20-year-old wants. I'm going to say it again. She wants the same thing that the 20-year-old wants. So which one makes sense? Should I pay to play with the 20-year-old or the 40-year-old 304? Do I want the older 304 or the younger 304? They want the same thing and the same amount of money. One is old and bitter, and one is young, beautiful, with an attitude. Which one are you going to choose? Which one? We're going to go with the 20-year-old all day. So here's the thing. She's not talking about broke guys who can't afford anything. She's talking about guys with means. So if you are a guy with means, she's upset and salty, man, that if you're a guy with means and you're an older guy, you're going to want that 20-year-old. She cannot compete. Gallon of makeup on so she can look like a 20-year-old. Want you to select her, meanwhile shaming you for wanting the 20-year-old, man. You listen, this is comedy, man. You can't beat this. And it feels so good not to be a part of the dating game in the West, especially with the creature, especially with the subject, especially with the chaos goblin. It just feels so good not to be a part of that. I look back and I observe and I see it. I laugh at it. I think it's funny. I think it's comical. I don't take them seriously whatsoever. And if I am going to deal, it's catch and release. I catch and wait for the creature to release. No skin off my nose. It's a win-win for me because I'm not going to invest that much. But look at how the subject tries to deceive you and shame you so that it can have more options and more choices. Fortunately for guys, even the SIMPs and the red pillars, some of them are smart enough to understand that, if I'm going to pay, if I'm going to pay anyway, if I am going to pay anyway, I'm going to try to get the best bang for my buck. Now, which one would you prefer, brothers? Would you prefer the 25-year-old or the 45-year-old? Especially if you're going to pay the same anyway, whether that's the flat rate or a day, whatever you want to call it, however you want to do it. However you want to do it. You're going to pay, man. You're going to pay. So which way? Young or older? And this is the thing. These Wallers, these aged chaos goblins, they are starting to feel the pressure of not having a man. They're starting to feel the pressure of not getting what they want. Because truth be told, it's more of them, more ladies than there are men. And they want guys who have a big pocketbook, a big bank account. And those men that they want aren't checking for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the walled demon isn't getting smashed. Yeah, by Broke Thuggo. They want to be able to dip off a broke thuggo, but have a rich guy or a wealthy guy or a guy with means to take care of them and be there for them for security. But they're not running into that. Because even again, the SIMP and the red pill is realizing, hey, if I got bread, I make well over 6 figures. I got a nice car. I got my own house. Why the hell would I want a 45-year-old? Why? And again, if it took a while for this guy to get his money up and his stuff together, and he wants a family, you know you can't have a family with a 40, 45, 50-year-old. And by the way, when they get that age, the chaos demons, the chaos goblins, they already got a bunch of kids. So they're being rejected by guys who got money. Like, oh, you got kids already, you're in your 40s, you can't give me no babies. Of course they gotta go to the 20-year-old. That it wouldn't even make sense to mess with the 30-year-old, because how much longer does a 30-year-old have to go before they can no longer have offspring? How farther? They don't have much farther to go. If you're gonna have a family, you best be trying to grab something under 27. You best be trying to grab that, because you know it's high risk when they are. I think high risk starts at like 30, which means you can have a Down syndrome baby, other complications, developmental issues, physical issues. So if a guy has money and he's smart, and I don't even mean smart in like the academic way, just in a social way, realizing that, hey man, you don't really want to pop off a 40-year-old. I'm sorry, that's just the game. I'm sorry, I didn't make it, but 40-year-olds, 30-year-old ladies have issues with bearing children. It's much more riskier. And a man who's intelligent understands that it's all about risk and possibilities and probabilities, and the probability is high for developmental issues when she's 30 plus. It's just a fact. So guys are saying, nope, I want them in their 20s. Even if that means pay to play or date or whatever. But the best choice, the best option now is get your passport and get the hell on up out of there. Not to even play that crazy, dirty Western game with the Chaos Goblins. No, 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 no. That's the best way. Get your passport and get out of their way. Hey, that rhymes. The best way, get your passport and get out of their way. Absolutely, absolutely. Black Realm 313, man. Just sharing my thoughts, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Trying to get this channel to 1,000 possible subs by the end of the year. I only expect modest gains here on the tube. I don't expect much, but if you want to help this channel grow, a secondary channel, like, share, and subscribe. Black Realm 313, I'm out.